And welcome back to another outstanding episode of the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. I'm Nick, and with me shortly will be TJ. He's running a little bit late. It's a huge week of New York sports that we've got coming for you right now. I can't express to you how wild it all is. NFL draft this week. We got them going on. Jets, Giants on the clock. Who we picking? Aaron Rodgers signs or finally gets traded to the New York Jets yesterday. Wild. Best quarterback for the Jets probably ever. I think that's fair to say ever. I don't think the Jets have ever had a quarterback of his caliber. And some might say, well, what about Joe Namath? If you look at Joe Namath's stats for his day, they're really good. But there's only about 2 years where he was really a stud. We just speak with him. We speak of him with such reverence because he won us our only Super Bowl championship, and he did it with such moxie and gusto that we kind of love talking about him. But in actuality, if you look at his, you'll hear a lot of fans say he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I absolutely think he does. But Aaron Rodgers at his introductory press conference yesterday, and he's with the Jets. He's happy to be a Jet. He's proud to be with the Jets right now, and it's great to see. Absolutely wild. And as a Jets fan, I can't tell you how happy I am to finally have somebody but under center and just kind of not have to worry about it. This is probably the first draft that we've had in a very long time where we're not sitting there thinking about the draft. I think this whole offseason, a lot of Jets fans have been saying oh, I'm not worried about the draft. I'm not thinking about the draft for a change. And it feels good. If you're a fan out there right now and you're not thinking about your team playing in the or going into the draft and what you're going to pick up, that's great. That means you have a solid team. So right now we've got our quarterback for the foreseeable future. And when I say foreseeable, I mean probably 2, maybe 3 years. And if that's what he's doing, hey, more power to him. Glad to have him on the team. He said all the right things yesterday when he was doing his press conference introductory with Joe Douglas and with Robert Saleh. Joe Douglas looked like all of us. He looked like every Jets fan in the world, happy to finally have his guy under center. And Aaron came out there. They asked him some questions about Zach Wilson and what Zach Wilson's got going on. Zach Wilson made some comments about if the Jets bring in a veteran to take over as a starter or compete with him, then he'll make that guy's life hell on the field, meaning he'll compete with the guy and he'll make sure the guy knows that it's not just his job to walk away with. And Aaron Rodgers came out and said, he's going to make my life hell on the field. I'm going to make his life heaven off the field, which is great because that basically is him saying, you're not going to have to worry about this. Because honestly, the young kid coming from Utah, coming in New York, in our market, hostile as all hell, everybody hating him just because, I don't know, because he grew up well-to-do and I don't know, they just don't like him because his haircut. He looks like the guy in a bad movie that stole your girlfriend. That's what Zach Wilson looks like. Zach Wilson looks like, and then you find out that he slept with his mom's friend. So now he looks like the guy who stole your girlfriend and banged your mom in the same movie. You can't like that guy, and I understand it. I don't respect it much, but I understand why people don't like him. It makes sense, He looks like the bad guy. He looks like William Zabka in Cobra Kai, So I get that part. It makes sense. But you know what? He's backing up. He's backing up his favorite player of all time, the guy he tried to emulate, the guy he tried to sit there and model his game after. He's now learning from the master. And if you're a Jet fan, even if you don't like Zach Wilson, and honestly, I don't blame you if you don't like him. I do blame you if you hate on the kid because you're not going to help our cause as a Jets as a Jets team. Hating on your own players, that's not going to do anything for them. They're not going to all of a sudden play better because Joe Schmo nobody is booing him. But if you're a Jet fan, this is the best case scenario. You got Aaron Rodgers under center, and you got his absolute favorite player, or excuse me, Zach Wilson's his biggest fan, and they're going to learn from each other. And even better is TJ has arrived. Welcome to the show, T.
Hey, sorry about that, Nick. I totally fell asleep.
No, it's all good, man. I'm more upset about you falling asleep because there's a lot going on. There's hockey going on tonight. There's football. There's the draft. I mean, there's a baseball game. The baseball game is kind of on the back burner for me because it's early on in the season. It's not as big deal as, first of all, the hockey game is probably up here, right here. and then
Big time.
the draft is right here. And to be truthful with you, as I was just saying, as a Jets fan, the only reason the draft is here and not here is because there's no basketball tonight. How about them Knicks?
Seriously, dude. I mean, it's funny. All the haters, all the New York doubters, all like the. I want to say it's hard to be a hater, I guess, because the Knicks haven't really been relevant in a while. They made a little bit of a comeback last year. Was the beginning of that journey that they went on to become relevant again in New York sports, because the Nets were getting a lot of the attention, and I think wrongly so, considering look at the Nets now and look at what they were. I think you could say the last 5 years have culminated for the Nets as a huge waste of money, and just a huge waste of money, an entire waste of talent. I think something that you gave a whole bunch of fans hope and then beat it out of them. Not even took it from them, just beat it out of them. And now the Knicks are like primed for it. You know what I mean? The Knicks are rightly so in the spotlight and earning every bit of it. So the Knicks are doing what they have to do.
And before we get into it, before our producer gets mad at us for not using it, I just want to hit a little bit of a. Big Nick energy is absolutely right. The New York Knickerbockers are in the playoffs and they're going deep. We got the next series up against the Miami Heat, and we're it's getting close. It is getting close, my friend. I haven't felt this good about the Knicks probably since the late '90s.
Yeah,
it's been a minute. The East. You got the East semifinals. So you got the East semifinals. We're winning series. That's crazy. That's wild.
The Knicks haven't been on the, and I'm not you. I'm like you. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but the Knicks haven't been like on the tip of my tongue since, I would say, if I'm not mentioning Latrell Sprewell, that's how long it's been. It's insane.
It's wild. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, I rock with you absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want it to make it seem like I'm a bandwagon Knicks fan. I'm not. I've never shied away from saying like, "Hey, what's your basketball team?" I root for the Knicks. I've always rooted for the Knicks my entire life.
Right.
I am just not neck deep in basketball, so I'm not. I don't let the Knicks ruin my day. But I always have. There's never been a day when I was like, I might like another team. Never. I'm not bandwagon. It's just that I'm not that. Even like I'll watch the playoffs in basketball when the Knicks are doing good. Like, and it's not that I don't want to watch them do badly. It's just that it doesn't pique my interest. I got other things going on. So it's like, all right, I can watch basketball, which I'm not in love with, but I'll watch it. As long as it's like, okay, let's go somewhere with it. I mean, it's like starting a book and then knowing you're not going to finish. What's the point of starting?
I know exactly what you mean, because I'm not going to say I will not throw the NBA playoffs on, mostly the finals, but I'm going to throw it on in like the fourth quarter and just see where it ends, because we already know we're like, being a casual basketball fan as I am, and like you said, I root for the Knicks because, listen, they share the garden with the Rangers. Why the hell not? Why wouldn't I root for the Knicks? I'm a New York City guy. I'm not right. I'm not going to be one of those dudes that like, oh, no, I don't like basketball, but I'm a Bulls fan. It's like, why? Yeah, I wonder. Like, cut the crap. I'm just not that guy. But
100%.
I'm not trying to jump on a wagon or anything like that. The Knicks have my full support. They've always had my full support. But basketball to me is like watch the last couple minutes of the NBA Finals and kind of see what's going on and where it goes, because that's the exciting part for me. If you're not a diehard basketball fan, and when I did watch basketball and you got to see those like Knicks and Pacers and Bulls series and Patrick Ewing and it's a long shot from where that was. And that to me was exciting basketball because I can relate it the most to my favorite sport, which is hockey. I mean, it was gritty, it was dirty, it was nasty. It was what you played in, I guess, the schoolyard with your friends when you got a little too cozy. I mean, like everybody knows when you play basketball in gym class when you're like fourth grade, it was prison rules.
Absolutely. Elbows and everything flying in the way.
Big time.
But Knicks Heat, and you know what? I got to say, Coop. This is it right here. Florida versus New York. This is like Dolphins versus Jets over here right now. So we got a little friction with Coop right now. A little bit of friction.
It's weird, though. It's very odd with Coop because we know how Coop feels about politics and how I feel about politics. I will trade, political agendas right now. Maybe New York City come back a little bit So if Coop wants to send Ron DeSantis up here to clean up the streets of New York, he can have Eric Adams and Chuck Schumer. I don't think he wants them though.
Oh man. But yeah, the Knicks are in it. Jalen Brunson. Actually, there was actually a funny tweet. Josh Hart put out a tweet about Jalen Brunson yesterday, who's had a good series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland fans in shambles, absolutely in shambles. And this is from our buddy Coop, the commish. Can't wait, Knicks Heat. But Josh Hart tweeted something about Jalen Brunson, basically saying, in tongue in cheek, of course. And for those of you who don't know what tongue in cheek means, it means he's being sarcastic. He goes, Jalen Brunson's too small, he's too slow, and he doesn't have the intelligence to play this game. And I guess maybe that's been the knock on Jalen Brunson up to this point. And Josh Hart was kind of saying it tongue in cheek, basically dispelling that rhetoric that it's not true. And that you like to see the gel. You like to see the gel. It's any sport. You want to see the players like each other.
Oh yeah.
It's funny, I think, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say what I really like to talk about players liking each other. I love the Madison Square Garden energy, where you see Knicks players walking into practice wearing Rangers jerseys, and you'll see Rangers players walking into practice wearing Knicks jerseys. I love it.
Synergy, bro.
MSG love. That's what it is. When you're cashing checks written by the same man.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's funny too, because when the last time I think me and you would even discuss like the Knicks and their energy was kind of like the Jeremy Lin saga, that he got hot all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden Carmelo Anthony's not happy and Jeremy Lin's got to go.
Linsanity.
Yeah, dude. And that's that weird thing with the Knicks and what they kind of had going for them. So I know I already saw it. I saw your face. My father texted me. My phone's going to be going off all night. He was like, when you're done with your podcast, give me a call, because he literally just wants to rant and rave and yell at somebody and like maybe not kick his little kickable dog that they have, who's very cute, and he would never do that. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
No, I saw it was something else. I was taking a face. I saw what you saw before you saw it. Trust me, I'm there.
Dude, I'm digging what the Knicks are doing right now. I wish them nothing but luck. And honestly, diehard Knicks fans deserve it. We don't deserve it. We're just there. We're not wagon guys, but we're just there in the background. It's not our sport. It's not our cup of tea. But you guys have my absolute vote of confidence and support. So I hope the Knicks dominate this entire playoff series. I hope they continue like they did in round one. So I think they have enough talent. I think they have the offensive ability. We don't even have to talk about defense because, again, it's NBA basketball. Dude, it's an exciting time when you have two New York sports teams, major New York sports teams in the playoffs, especially in a building as hallowed ground as MSG.
MSG is the mecca of basketball, and we're going to stick it into MSG. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code SCOREBOARD to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
That's Underdog Fantasy for all your fantasy sports needs as we stick to Madison Square Garden and... I love that graphic. I love the celebration thing. Thanks a lot, Coop.
I do as well. I like the organ, dude. I like the organ. You don't get it. It's not as prominent in MSG anymore during hockey games. You still get a little taste of it. But that sound brings back such memories of being a little kid at the Garden. Now, like the organ was it, dude. It wasn't a PA system digitally, shooting music in as much as it is today. It used to be all of that organ and just that Let's Go Rangers and a lot more Potman sucks.
For those of you who have never been to Madison Square Garden to watch the beloved New York Rangers, the organ at Madison Square Garden is actually ordered by the NHL that they are not allowed to play that whole I don't really know what it's called. I don't know what the music is called, but you know it when you hear it. It goes dun dun
Dirge.
dun 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 dun. Dun. So at the Garden, the organist is not allowed to play that at NBA games or at NHL games because back in, I guess it was in the 80s, Knicks fans, Rangers fans, whenever they heard that little ditty, they would scream Potvin sucks at the
Right.
end of the little, and that, of course, in reference to Dennis Potvin, former New York Islander, which I don't even understand why Long Island has a team, but whatever. They do, unfortunately. Like
I mean, I'd rather have them there. I'd rather have them there on their own island. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to mooch off of real New York City sports. You're not New York City. You guys are technically upstate New York. You just forgot where to go. You went down instead of up.
you made a left instead of a right or whatever it was. I don't know. You should have made a left and you kept going straight or something. I don't know. But
yeah, so I mean, before we get to the Rangers, let's talk about Islanders. Islanders right now losing to Carolina 3-2. They finish off tomorrow. Hopefully get finished off in game 6. Hurricanes at the Islanders. So that series has been I want to say it's kind of one-sided, but the Islanders last game kind of put on a show. So it can go either way. I think the Hurricanes are going to close them out in game 6. I just think they're outmatched. I think the Islanders this year and even last year was an entire letdown from the previous year, making it through pretty much the Stanley Cup, almost to the finals. So did they made it? No, they almost to the finals. Sorry. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's, I don't want to say a fall from grace because as fast as they came on the scene, they disappeared. It's a flash in the pan. They made it back to the playoffs this year after missing the playoffs last year, which is insane as far as they got the year before. But I think they're just overmatched and outclassed by the Carolina Hurricanes. We barely got past the Carolina Hurricanes last year, and it was a series. Like, it could have went either way. And as Ranger fans, we were holding on for dear life because the Carolina Hurricanes are a badass team, dude. They know how to hit. They know how to score. They know how to play defense. They know how to play offense. Again, the Rangers with Igor Shesterkin, and especially last year, Igor Shesterkin was stellar. But the Carolina Hurricanes can grind it out and get wins however they need to get them. So they're a dangerous team. I mean, if you're an Islander fan, you got a tough road to climb being down 3-2.
Yeah, you're actually right about the whole flash in the pan thing, because for about a year or two, they were stellar. They were in, as our friend our friend Yaz always says, they were in the mix. They were in the mix for about 2 seasons where you're like, they might win a Stanley Cup. And I was getting real nervous as a Ranger fan. I was like, dear Lord, I hope these losers don't win a freaking Stanley Cup. That'll piss
100%.
me off.
I can't deal with that. I'm not, listen, no offense, but I think you guys will agree too. Our cohort Islander fans on the other side of the fence would agree. They do not want us to see us get to the Stanley Cup as bad as we don't want to see them get to the Stanley Cup, because we cannot take that shit talking amongst each other, especially friends. That's the kind of shit you want to talk about, politics tearing families apart. That's the kind of thing over Christmas dinner that gets somebody stabbed, legit stabbed.
Same thing with the Devils.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what it is? And it reminds me of, but without getting too far off of hockey, it reminds me of, when the Giants are playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl. People are asking me like, well, who you're rooting for, the Giants, right? And I was like, no, not at all. And they were like, why not? You want the Patriots to win? No, I want the stadium to collapse, and I want everybody to lose. They're like, why wouldn't you just root for the Giants? Why? Because Giants fans are assholes, and I will never hear the end of it if this freaking inbred Jed Eli Manning wins another Super Bowl. Like, I'll never hear the end of it. They truthfully think he's the greatest thing ever. The guy can't even spell his name. It's 3 letters.
Yeah.
But it was torture having to hear Giants fans like they walking around like they're the Yankees of football.
It didn't bother me as much with the Giants, but the problem with the Giants and the thing that irked us the most as like dedicated Jet fans as we were is 4 games into the season, they're calling for the coach to get axed. They're calling for Eli to get benched or moved off the team or just thrown out of town, like put him on a barge and ship him to the land of Mississippi. And then by the time you get to the playoffs, they're saying elite Eli. You can't do that. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't do it. And I respect Giant fans that sat there and were like, yo, dude, I hated on him big time at the beginning of the year, but I'm going to sit here and enjoy the Super Bowl. And I'm like, dude, I'm not hating on you. It's the people that said for the first 4 to 5 games, this guy fucking sucks. He'll never get us anywhere. And then want to sit there with the Elite Eli t-shirt on. It's like, dude, you hated on this guy as bad as we hated on this guy. It's like, no, I didn't. Like
They bought their jersey at Modell's at midnight the night they won the Super Bowl. Still had the tags on it the next day, but
they paid that marked up price.
But we're not getting off hockey, right? We get in the weeds sometimes, and that's not going to happen. You know what? New network, new attitude. We're not getting into the weeds. By the way, your bartender is hot.
I didn't want to get to that, but yeah, I mean, we have a new bartender in the Scoreboard Addicts bar. Her name is Tatiana. We may have ordered her in the mail. I don't know. I'm not some kind of sicko, by the way. That is a prop. I hope my brother and my future brother-in-law are watching, but we got a sick bachelor party going. So starting tomorrow, it's gonna be pouring rain this weekend. It kind of sucks, but we have a golf weekend.
Is it?
Yeah. Tomorrow we might get away with the round of golf. Saturday is looking a little soggy. So that's just a little hijink set up there by me because why not have a little fun?
You know, how come nobody ever has any low jinks?
I mean, I think low jinks are the kind of thing that get you brought up on charges now. You know what I mean? Used to be like, hey, let's tie the rookie to a chair and like give him a pink belly and then cover him in maple syrup. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know how this got charged with a sexual assault, but I did. And I'm in prison. I don't remember touching him anywhere naughty, but apparently you can't do that anymore. It was just syrup, folks.
Back in the day, you used to be able to tie a piece of cloth to the guy's cleat, set it on fire. It was a good laugh. Now
it's nothing like a good hot foot. A good hot foot. But you know what? I digress. We'll get to the good hot foots and whatnot in baseball because I think baseball hijinks are abound. Let's get to the New York Rangers, Nick.
Let's talk about it.
As high of the high was game 1 and 2, walking into the Rock, literally 5-1, both games, being 10 goals to 2 goals advantage, and the lows of the low of game 4. Game 3 is a wash. Game 3, tie game. We go to overtime. And as a Ranger fan who had to deal with it last year, where they had to go to 7 friggin' games every time, they had to look really good. And then the next game looked like they shouldn't even be out there with the rival team. They did that shit against the Penguins. They did that shit against the Hurricanes last year. Dude, dominated for 2 games and 3 periods. Dominated the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then it's just the letdown. And this Rangers team seems to do that. As great as they are offensively and as amazing and stellar play that you get out of Igor Shesterkin between the pipes, they can just show up. And I like to use the word shit the bed. It's not even shitting the bed. It's like being the dude that got put in a home in an elderly care center by your family, and you don't feel like you deserve to be there, and you just hover above the bed naked, look at the nurse that's taking care of you, and just absolutely spray your chocolate pudding all over the bed because you want to be a spiteful son of a bitch. It's not shitting the bed. It's annihilating the sheets with diarrhea to where they have to burn them and cannot wash them anymore. That's how bad they were in game 4. It was a fucking letdown and a half. They didn't even show up. Game 3, I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, you're waiting for that bad bounce goal, and the Devils ended up scoring a good goal, but you just, I could deal with being that, you know, up 2-1. You expect to get a good game 4, especially the home ice. Dude, imagine being one of these Ranger fans that paid $550 to sit in the fucking rafters, okay? And then watch that shit show that was game 4. I would have stolen something. I would have stolen my seat. I would have taken the seat. Like, I paid for the seat. I didn't get my money's worth. This is going home with me. I'm putting it at the dinner table.
I can't get over the whole chocolate pudding and...
Dude, I'm just ranting here because it just shitting the bed isn't a vile enough statement for what they did to Ranger fans in game 4. Zero heart.
You did this to me.
Zero heart, zero effort. Zibanejad, ghost, not even there. Panarin, did you see him miss the net from the hash marks by 4 feet? You couldn't do that if you tried.
It's true, I couldn't.
Okay, and last year, we had to hear how, Panarin's hurt. That's why he's having these games where, like, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything, and he might have a broken wrist and he's playing through it. Are we going to start that excuse train again? Because there is definitely a new kind of aura, a new feeling around the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers are always relevant in the playoffs, especially in the last 10 years, and there's a lot of wagon fans. There's a lot of fans that have their pink jerseys and they don't even know who's on the back of them and couldn't name you 2 starting players, but they're a Ranger fan because they like going out and it's the hot thing to do to go to MSG and then go get a sick dinner and spend $1,000 on the night. And I nobody likes wagon fans, not at all. And when you pan
To be fair, sometimes I don't wear my blue shirt. Sometimes I wear my khaki shirt or OD green. I guess it's OD green technically.
it's a little different though.
Just because you wear a shirt that is pink and or doesn't mean you're a bandwagon fan. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, by the jersey that they wear, you can pick out the real fans and the fans that are like, oh my God, I'm going to Ranger game Sunday night. Let me go buy something.
To be fair, I buy something every time I go to the Garden out of habit, it seems. I feel like it makes it more authentic.
That's like loading up your closet with just memorabilia.
I do have a lot of shit.
I don't know what to wear to a Ranger game, so let me buy a whole bunch of Ranger stuff. And like the people in front of us that were like, what's going on with the whistling? And we have to explain it to them.
To be fair, they were Swedish. Swedish?
I'm just saying they had an excuse.
They were Finnish.
Finish.
Frendikako.
Finish.
Frendikakos.
Yes, absolutely. But again, speaking about Kako still played with, I think he's the only one other than Igor Shesterkin that showed up, especially in game 4, getting nasty along the boards, first one into the corners. That kid plays with nothing but heart. I hate saying this, and I've defended the kid since I would say about halfway through last year when people were calling for his head. I don't think Lafreniere is going to develop into the player we want him to be because he's just lost out there. And game 4, dude, he couldn't catch a pass. He couldn't make a pass. And he was just kind of floating around. And that's not the attitude or the energy level you need from your kid line. Your third line player who's supposed to be lifting the energy and giving your first and second line a break and doing something where it just is that characteristic. Let's get a little physical. Let's get the puck in deep. Let's do something to get the fans into it because the fans were not into it game 4. They were never into it. It was, dude, the Garden was a graveyard during a funeral. It was bad.
Yeah, I'm watching the game right now. For those of you who don't realize, I am obviously not at my home, as you can tell by this boring ass background that I have behind me, and you don't see the shine on my head. But I'm watching this game out of the corner of my eye, and goddamn, if the passing is not sloppy as all hell, it is bad right now.
Dude, and it started in game 3. It started in game 3 where there was nothing crisp, and then, dude, how about the power play? Going from Chris Kreider having 4 goals in 2 games, 4 power play goals in 2 games, standing exactly where he belongs, directly in front of the goalie, getting those deflection screen goals, right? And then all of a sudden now he's playing off the post. What you're afraid to get in front of the net? The Rangers are afraid to get nasty. They refuse to hit Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes weighs like 160 pounds. Somebody needs to get in his face. Somebody needs to throw him around. And I agree. He's a fast player. He might be the only devil right now beating us. And he's beating the shit out of us. He's outskating us. He's outplaying us. He scores at will pretty much. If you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile and put it in the back of the net. And the Rangers don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, it's frustrating up to this point. I think right now it's tough right now. I'm going to say, you know what? I think the Rangers take this series, but I think it's painful for the fans to watch.
It's painful right now, dude. I'm sweating it out. I don't like this one bit. Okay, that's the last thing I want to hear is Devil fans. I said Islander fans, we can't deal with the jostling, jarring with Islander fans. We don't want to hear from Devil fans either. You know what I mean? I have no problem giving props where props is due. They have a tremendous team. They are very fast, and they're forcing us to play their game. And Jack Hughes is like the young talent, the McJesus of this year. And it's just it's killing us right now. Zibanejad, no show. Panarin, no show. Dude, Miller. I don't know what's gotten into him and what he's doing, but it seems like a tremendous fall off. I think that the turning point in his season was that whole like spitting incident.
It's like we're right here.
He hasn't been the same. He's been very tentative. He has not rushed the puck. You usually see that burst from Miller that takes the puck, takes it in deep, and not only takes it in deep and then tries to circle back the defense, but takes it in deep and then stays in front of the net. You're not getting that from him. And unfortunately, with all the big money moves the Rangers have made this season and they're going to have to make, Miller's one of those guys that may or may not be moved because you can't pay everybody. And as good as Schneider's been playing, and as solid as he's been playing, and as tough as that kid is, who's still going to fill out and still going to put on a little muscle and learn the game even more, it's put up or shut up time for Miller. I think he has to make a statement. I think he has to be one of those guys that's like, no, dude, he's a key guy. And he was a key guy. I mean, no pun intended, Keandre Miller. But it's getting lost in the shuffle right now. Barkley Goudreau, another guy getting lost in the shuffle. He was good in game 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 just out there.
Yeah. Yeah, Goudreau's he's missing. You know, you're right. Everybody's pretty much missing. The last 2 games, especially, you scored 10 goals to 2 over the course of the first 2 games, and then it's damn near crickets. I mean, game 3 is a wash. It's tie. It's tie game.
I'm not mad about game 3. Game 4, dude. Let's call it what it is. That goal that Trocheck scored was a luck chuck to the net, and that went in because Schmidt didn't see it. That's it. It wasn't a good goal.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Why is Schmidt playing so good?
I think you're doing the rookie third string goalie energy kind of, hey, this is where you can make a paycheck. This is where you can get your name out there, and you're given an opportunity, run with it. And he's running with it. I mean, I understand that goalies don't really move that much, but he doesn't have to. He's a big son of a bitch. You know, he's like freaking Valley over there, but a little thicker.
Valley's big.
Valiquette was what, 6'7", 6'8"?
I was just gonna say 6'7", like the largest goalie that ever lived.
Yeah, I think Schmidt is 6'3", 6'4". Big boy though, like 220, something like that. So
something like that.
Dude, he takes up a big portion of that net, and he doesn't have to move much, and he's playing his angles correctly. What are you gonna do with that? I'm gonna tell you what you got to do. You got to get definitely back to the power play of moving that puck across the center line of the ice. And how many times do we listen to Valiquette break it down in between periods? If you move the puck across the ice, your scoring chances just went up 30 to 40%. If that puck gets passed one time across the center line of the ice, hash mark to hash mark, that little pass right there, getting it from the left side to the right side or vice versa, increases your odds of scoring 30 to 40%.
You know, it's wild. I think we saw the full frustration from Igor on Saturday in game 4. Where he's making long passes because he just got fed up and he's like, "Fuck it."
Right.
It reminds me of the scene in Zach and Miri Make a Porno where I believe his name is Jay Anderson, who plays Randall in Clerks. He's playing goalie at his like men's rec hockey team, and his team is sucking, and he's like, why the fuck do I have to do it? He's playing goalie, and he comes out of the net and starts laying people out.
Yeah.
and then
the dude up as soon as he comes across the blue line. Oh, chance in front.
And then the ref puts him in the box, and he's like, I'm going to fuck your mother. And he's like, that's a little harsh, isn't it? He's like, that's my cousin. It's all good.
Yeah, he says, I'm going to hate fuck the shit out of you, ref.
Yeah. It's my cousin. It's okay.
Yeah. Dude, 100%, dude. I can't deal with this shit.
Uh-oh.
I love the Rangers too much. I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
It hurts to see.
I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but I have watched zero baseball since the playoffs have started. And normally I watch a bunch of the West Coast games, and there are some good games to watch. That Dallas Minnesota series, tremendous. The Oilers series, awesome. The Seattle Avalanche series, insane. Not watching any of them because all my focus is on my team right now. And I can't take it, dude. This team's going to give me a freaking heart attack. I'm going to have a coronary, or I'm going to be stuck in traffic one day and somebody's going to cut me off and I'm just going to take it out on that poor bastard. I can't deal with the letdowns, dude. You can't give me, if the Rangers are outplayed, blue line to blue line or goal line to goal line, right? By a better team, no big deal. But it's the fact that they come out game 1 and game 2 on the road and show you this dominant performance. And then they're not even a shell of themselves game 4. Game 3, they were
not
there.
Even a shell.
Dude, game 3, they were there, but it wasn't the same energy. They were tentative. They were scared. They're playing on their heels. They're doing what the Rangers do. Is like, let's kind of just will it into the net. We can coast a little bit. Let's not over. Will it to me, Reeves.
Will it to me.
It's insane, bro. And I like the fact that Gallant got a little pissed And I think, honestly, I said Gallant should have been in that locker room after game 4, two-handing people with sticks. Just snapping shit, breaking people's stuff, bag skating them, telling them run up and down. I want you to sweep these floors. Nobody leaves until the garden is clean. And telling the people at work that janitorial staff, like, no, you guys are going to hang out.
Yeah,
We got this. Dude, 100%. Because honestly, I think Gallant is gone. If the Rangers fizzle out in this playoff series, Gallant is gone.
So, you know what it is? You throw them in the shower, and then while they're all in the shower, you throw a bunch of sticks at them, Bull Durham style.
You lollygag the ball at first.
But are they not lollygagging?
Oh.
They're lollygagging across the fucking blue lines.
They are big time lollygagging, and then they are limp wristing the shit out of passes where they can't catch a pass, they can't make a pass, they can't get a good scoring opportunity. I think last game we had when Valley broke it down for us on Twitter, which he normally does. If you're not following Steve Valiquette and you're a Ranger fan, you don't know what the hell you're doing because he breaks it down statistically. He's got a whole pie chart and shit. And I think the Rangers had it's ranked in red, yellow, and green, kind of like actual scoring chances. And the Rangers had in the green, good scoring chances, 5 all game in game 4. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. They're so struggling just to get the puck across the blue line. It hurts to see because you're just sitting there going, what are you doing?
This power play is embarrassing. The Rangers now 1-0, by the way. We've been ripping on the Rangers. First period, about 4 minutes left, and this power play, the last 10, fizzled out big time.
So the quick question I have for you, this team drives me to drink. I know they drive you to drink. So what are you drinking?
Whiskey of the week.
I got to go to Tantiano over here. Oh,
Here it comes.
That juice bottle too hard.
God, you just assaulted that woman.
Never keep my whiskey from me, woman. The bottle of whiskey was holding her up. So this is a late edition. I was going somewhere different with my whiskey of the week, okay? But I happened to shoot out to Jersey, went to Bayway Liquors, the world-famous Bayway Liquors. If you're in the tri-state area, everybody knows about Bayway Liquors.
Right over
the Goethals Bridge, okay?
Right there in Elizabeth.
Yep, they were there for the old Goethals Bridge. They're there for the new Goethals Bridge. They're there for me and you, okay, to help us with our dependency during this Rangers playoff run.
I'm
coming, Elizabeth. Seriously, we're both gonna have heart attacks. But so I happen to pick this up. Let's see if I can get it focused on camera. Okay, Knob Creek, single barrel, select barrel. Okay, this is Bayway World of Liquors store pick. This was barreled on January 24th, 2012. It was bottled on November 2nd, 2021. It is Warehouse 1, Floor 5, Rick 23, and it's 120 proof, 9-year bourbon. And I seen it $46.99. Obviously, it's going to be different depending on your area, but normally these single barrel select bourbons are closer to 60 everywhere I check, 65 even. Seen it, had to grab it. I've been a little bit of a proof snob lately, and this thing did not disappoint. Threw me for a whirl, and I had to change up my whiskey of the week and go with this. So I'm going to give it a little pour, and then a heavier pour depending on the outcome of the game tonight. Smell. This is like no frills, straight to the point, just pure caramel sweetness on the nose and a little bit of the oak from the barrel, a little bit of the woodiness.
I like how you get your nose all the way in there.
You got it, dude. You got it. As we saw from that video that Bag sent us. And apparently it was me with the mustache, according to you, you bastard.
Yes.
You have to put that out for the world to see because that hurt a little bit. That guy was a dick. He has went as far as to pouring bourbon into his glass and then throwing it on the floor. He's like, pour your bourbon. Now get rid of your bourbon. You don't want the neck pour. It's like, what? You just got rid of good whiskey, my guy. I dare you to do that to Pappy 23 and not have somebody hit you with a brick. But anyway, on to the tasting. Oh, that is good. That is for 120 proof. It's smooth. Then you get hit with a little bit of the burn. You doing the math?
60% alcohol.
Correct. There you go. Little division. Not even long division. That's short division, my guy. Dude, this is right up front, right in the mouth, right on the palate. Maple syrup. Like dead on. Maple. I'm talking about real maple syrup. Like, hey, you're in Vermont and you don't know what's going on right now, but your chick wants to see the leaves turn colors and you're like, we could do this in my front yard. I don't understand why I have to drive to another state. And then you taste the maple syrup and you're like, okay, this just became worth it. But now we need pancakes or else this trip is not complete.
I could go for a little maple candies.
This is maple right in your face, a sweet maple syrup, and then you get a little bit of a bitterness, but not a bad bitterness. You get a little bit of the wood note. A little bit of zinc.
The little bit of the bitterness is like your friend dating your ex as opposed to the Rangers losing to the Devils.
It's not even that bad. It's a little bit of bitterness, like, when
Someone stole your parking space?
No, not. You know what it is? It's like when you take a whole handful of Jelly Belly jelly beans, right? And then there's a licorice one in there, and you're like, "Yeah, that doesn't jive. That doesn't
That's
jive."
awful. That's awful.
It's just, but it's not that you hate licorice. Some people
No,
do.
it is.
I don't hate licorice, but like it's like, oh man, I got lime, I got strawberry in here, I got coconut in here. This is all. Why is licorice in here? Who invited licorice to the party? A little bit of bitterness at the end, but absolutely delicious, dude. I am very surprised. I am happy as a pig in shit. $46.99 for this, 120 proof. It does its job. I had a couple of these the other night. I'm not gonna lie. And when I stood up to go to bed, I was like, whoo, 120 coming at you. So Knob Creek, single barrel select, 2 thumbs way up. Cheers. What do you got going, Nick?
I got nothing. I was drinking Coke before. I might as well be in like Dry County, freaking Tennessee right now. But
he has to watch the Rangers lose sober.
Pour a little out for me. But
yeah, this one's for you, pal.
I appreciate it. That looks nice too. Damn it. All right.
I don't want to say it's bad because it's not, and that would be a lie.
Moving forward.
So, Nick, you're going to have to carry us in this section of the show because, like I said, I'm dedicated 100% to Rangers hockey. I have no time for anything else. I kind of got swamped at work like you. You've been swamped at work as well. I've watched zero baseball, and the only thing I know about the Yankees existing right now is that Aaron Judge and Volpe were at the game the other night, and they really didn't bring us any luck.
At the Ranger game, that is correct. Right now, Yankees and Mets both have similar records. Yankees are actually they have the same record. They're 14. They're both 14-11. I think everybody kind of expected both teams to be a little bit better than 3 games over 500. But as you said, it's early on in the season. There's time for everything. Anthony Volpe for the New York Yankees has turned it on as of late, and over the course of the last 12 games, he's batting around 292. He's starting to get a reputation for being the guy that they have. What's it called? The Volpe triple, where he walks and steals second and steals third. I love it. Reminds me, and excuse me for saying, because it's because there will never be anyone like that ever again. But it's like Ricky Henderson used to do that.
Ricky Henderson, especially towards the end of his career, knowing how historic those stolen bases were, he's taking it every time. Every time,
yeah.
Like, dude, it's like turning a kid loose in a candy store. Like, I don't want it. We don't need it. I'm still taking it. It's gonna rot my teeth. I don't care. I want second, and I might take third.
I'm gonna take it because I can.
Yeah, 100%. Why not?
That's some true gangster stuff. But Volpe's doing pretty well right now. Yankees take on the Rangers tonight. I just like the way that sounded. My hand slipped. I'm gonna be honest with you. My hand slipped on the old pan today. But anyway, Garrett Cole taking on the Rangers with former Yankee Andrew Heaney, who's having a half decent season. Other Yankees that are former Yankees that are having a half decent season. You're talking about somebody like Joey Gallo and Sonny Gray, both having very good starts to their seasons. What are your thoughts on that? Some guys just don't handle New York well. What do you think that's about?
They can't do it. They can't play in front of crowds that matter. They can't play in front of fans that are passionate. Joey Gallo making like excuse after excuse, like, oh, New York fans just don't appreciate the type of hitter I am. A bad one? Like, dude, you're literally saying that to the media. You don't appreciate the type of hitter I am. I don't want a home run every 10 at bats and 8 fucking strikeouts and 1 pop fly to short right field. How does that help the team? It helps nobody. It helps the stat nerd sitting there going, it's still a home run and that's an RBI and blah, 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 blah. And statistically, you got to swing for the fences every time. It's like, no, I'll take a slap hit to right. Because why? Because the statistic nerds have literally given us Aaron out in center, who's not even in center right now.
Hicks.
Aaron Hicks. Yes,
Yeah.
not Judge.
Okay.
Sorry. I would never Aaron Judge.
All right.
I should have finished that because then that's Aaron. You don't fuck around with that guy's name. We're talking about Hicks, okay? Who literally, I honestly don't think once the Yankees finally get around to releasing him, which they need to do, because it's a travesty watching him play, and it's a travesty knowing that they have to put like IKF out in center field because this guy can't fucking play, right? Not that IKF can play any better. IKF is the next one on the boat out of here with his abysmal hitting, but IKF, we said, was fine as a serviceable backup, every once in a while player, get somebody to rest, and he is. And that's all he needs to be. And that's all he should be. But Hicks needs to go, dude. I do not think anybody picks him up. I do not think he has a role in the minor league system. I think that guy is literally selling cars in the next year or two. I think he's doing something with his life that's away from fucking baseball.
He's going to play golf.
If that's what he wants to do.
Isn't he married to Tiger Woods' niece?
Yeah, Cheyenne Woods or something like that?
Couldn't tell you. Don't know. But I'm fairly certain he's married to Tiger Woods. So he's a big golf enthusiast.
Well, listen, he at this point, he might just be a baseball enthusiast because he's not a baseball player.
So here's my question. Is his golf swing messing up his baseball swing?
It's usually the other way around, at least in my case. But then again, I was a baseball player before I was a golfer. Not to call myself a baseball player, men's league, but at least I was competent. As far as the league went, I was in the upper half of playing level. You know what I mean?
Baseball came more naturally to you than golf, is what you're trying to say.
Well, it's different if you have a baseball bat in your hand versus a golf club in your hand at 2-3 years old. It's like the reverse Tiger Woods. It's a different type of swing. If you have athleticism, you can do anything. You know, it's amazing how hockey players are very good at golf. And a lot of these guys are scratch golfers, like Brett Hull, scratch golfer, Jeremy Roenick, scratch golfer. And it's just, if you're athletic and you're used to using your upper body and lower body time together, it kind of makes sense. And it's the same thing with baseball. The problem with baseball, though, is if you're driving the ball to right, you're leaving that bat out there, right? And you're just going with the pitch. That's called a slice in golf, and I have it really bad. You don't want that.
It's not Jeremy. Chris Chelios plays golf too. No, he plays with John.
Yes.
It's the craziest. No, it's the craziest foursome ever. It's Chris Chelios, Johnny C. McGinley. What's this guy's name from Hot Tub Time Machine? Help me out, John. Cusack and Tony Danza.
Who's the boss? Hey, Tony Danza.
It's the weirdest foursome ever, but that's a foursome. Mets are leading the Nats right now 2-1.
Since we're talking about baseball, if I may interject,
please.
How out of place was Tony Danza and Angels in the outfield? Angela, I'm on the mound.
Let's go to he wasn't out of place because he played baseball. He was a failed baseball player in Who's the Boss?
I understand, but it's just
the outfield.
He's not confident. Not at all. You know what I mean? Dude, it's like watching it's like watching Tim Robbins throw a ball in Bull Durham. You know he never threw a ball before in his life. You know what I mean? But versus what's his name? Kevin Costner, who actually played baseball. You know what I mean?
At Cal Thornton. Yeah, and speaking of Kevin Costner, Kevin Costner should only be allowed to make sports movies because Bull Durham's excellent, Field of Dreams, excellent,
amazing,
Cup, excellent, and not much love for it, but I like it anyway. Draft Day, excellent, and that brings us to our final segment today.
That was
the NFL.
Good segue, by the way. You deserve that.
I thank you. I appreciate that.
I like that.
Today is the NFL draft, and for the first time in many a year, I'm not excited about it. And it's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing in the sense that this year's draft is pretty weak. it's a good thing in that as a Jets fan, you usually get excited about the draft because you have no talent on your team and
It
you're
means a whole
hoping to get
lot.
some.
Yes,
It means a lot.
a whole lot.
This year, we got the talent. Let's talk about that talent.
If you've been living under a rock or like me, just been paying attention to NHL hockey, at least I still know because I'm a Jet fan. Aaron Rodgers, another AA run, right? Moving over to the Jets. And the funny thing is, and we talked about that the second it broke, and we went over the terms of the trade. I don't know if you have it in front of you, Nick. I don't. You did text it to me. Essentially, I thought the Jets gave up a little more than I thought they would by swapping first-round picks. Not that it means all that much, like you said, in a weak draft class year. And depending on what the Jets are really aiming for now that they have their quarterback, and essentially they are very competent and very competitive in offensively right now on paper without the draft. So it doesn't hurt too bad. But I'm going around, like Twitter, and these guys that get paid to talk sports are saying the Jets got fleeced. And it's like, in what world did the Jets get fleeced? I don't understand where that's coming from. Aaron Rodgers approaching 40. It's like you're the same people that were kissing Tom Brady's ass like he needs to come back. Absolutely. It doesn't matter. It's going to cost him his marriage. This guy will take them to the Super Bowl. And I'm pretty sure the guy lost out on Gisele Bündchen and got his ass kicked all year. Like that's a bad move. That's fleeced, by the way. That's fleeced. The divorce and getting your ass kicked.
It was a swap of first round picks. They got a second round pick this year. And next year they get next year's second round. That's potentially a first round pick if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the plays this season.
Which in our book, if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps this season, we should be playoff bound. As of right now, we should be playoff bound.
There's a graphic courtesy of Pro Football Focus, which I'm not a big fan of, but they gave us a nice graphic, so I'll use it.
That is a nice graphic.
So Aaron Rodgers to the Jets with the 15th overall pick. So swap of first round picks, moving only 2 spots for the Packers. They really didn't move much. It's 2 spots, and they also sent over the 170th pick of this draft. I can't remember what round that is, but it's deep in there. It's, after the 4th round, I think it's a 5th or 6th rounder.
The first round swap. Do you think they have somebody in mind that they really want to go after? Because why would they take on it? It's a decent chunk of money to take that on. Just swapping, moving 2 places is a difference of guaranteed money for them.
So it's twofold. You got to figure it's when they do trades now for the first round, right? Or for any round for that matter, it's all based on a point system. Somebody somewhere decided that each pick is worth a certain amount of points, and they move forward from there. So if you trade up even 2 spots, you can actually trade back down, pick up another first rounder for less money and a second round or third round pick in either this year's draft or next year's draft, depending on what's on the board. So trading for a first round
it's just capital. It's just capital at this point.
It is. It's just capital. The Packers, obviously, we swapped. They have 13 now, and they get 42 overall, which is a second round pick, 207 overall in this year's. And then next year, it's a conditional second round pick, 2024. It becomes a first if Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps. Now, I told you this. I said, maybe we get lucky and we blow out everybody, and then we can just put him in for 60% of the plays and we just blow out everybody. And then you have Zach Wilson play the other 40% and he doesn't end as the second round pick. That would be the greatest, by the way, that would be the greatest thing in the history of the NFL if the Jets were so good this year that Aaron Rodgers only had to play 60% of the snaps because they were blowing everybody out.
That's a good year.
I would cry. Tears would literally form in my eyes as I watched the game, just like with a permanent, what do they call it? A rictus grin? Yeah, that's what I would have.
It would be so nice to be a Jet fan for even just like half a season, right? Where it's not like gritting your teeth and essentially being like Jim Belushi in Animal House, walking past the guy playing guitar and just taking it off of him and casually smashing it and then handing him the deformed neck back.
Sorry.
And walking away.
So Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, for me at least, will wear number 8 and not 12. I wanted him to wear 12.
I don't like it.
You don't like him wearing 8 or you don't like him wearing 12?
I don't like him wearing 8.
I feel like I felt like it was destiny that he wore 12, got rid of the I don't even know what to call it, the hex, the jinx, the curse, the bad juju on there. And people will be like, "How dare you, Joe Namath?" I'm like, listen, Joe Namath was so long ago, it might as well have not happened.
In fandom scope, right? Being a Jet fan, it's nice to have a Super Bowl under your belt, correct? It's
So many teams
very
don't.
nice. You don't want to be the team that doesn't have a Super Bowl. However, it's not like we can sit there and tout it and throw it around in other people's faces when we're having that rivalry sports argument, because we weren't around to see it we weren't around the while to see it. You know what I mean? It came almost
near 20 years.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's there, it's happened, it's part of history. I wouldn't throw it away per se, but it doesn't really mean much more than saying we got one. That's all it means. You know,
it's like a Met fan being happy about 86.
And let's call it what it is. Broadway Joe, it's not like he was a fucking force to be reckoned with and just annihilated the league left and right. And he was
for like 3 years.
Yes.
If you look at the stats for about 3 years in the NFL, it was like him, 50 feet of crap, and then the rest of the league. And then like he won that Super Bowl, and the devil was like, "Hey, you got yours, and we're done now." And that was pretty much the end of his career. And he continued to play for like another 8 years, but nothing remotely close.
My
to what
point
he was.
is he's not in the same aspect of getting that one championship. He's not Mark Messier. He's not revered like that.
No.
You know what I mean? He's not Brian Leach.
He is revered like that. It's just that he's just old. He's just old now.
It's not even that. What I mean is it's not.
He's not revered amongst the NFL. He is revered amongst Jet fans.
Exactly. Like everybody knows who's like. Listen, you know who Joe Namath is. I'm not going to sit here and say like he doesn't have face value. He does. But Mark Messier, everybody knew he was a difference maker for his entire career.
Well, not only that, but there is no debate about whether or not Mark Messier is a Hall of Famer. There are a lot of football fans that would say that Joe Namath doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I digress. We're talking about the NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Jets have the 15th pick overall tonight. The draft starts. Actually, the draft's already started. What do you think the focus overall should be for the NFL draft? I mean, if you think there should be a focus at all.
For the Jets, I think you're just filling in pieces and whatever you can do to accompany Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, you're not doing anything more than maybe an offensive piece, and then you're playing tidy up right now. And I think the Jets are putting themselves in an advantageous position to say, let's see who's on the board when it gets to us. Have a game plan in mind, but if somebody drops to us that could be used as some kind of value, whether we keep them, whether we move them, anything. We'll jump up. We'll take what we get, because right now I think on paper the Jets have no glaring holes. I want to see an extra wide receiver, but I'm not sitting here telling you we need a wide receiver. We got this guy. We got Rodgers. He's going to sling the ball. Who is he slinging the ball to? We don't have that problem, and that's a beautiful thing.
That's great. We could probably use another offensive lineman in the first round. Obviously, there's a lot of players that I would think about taking, but they don't fit that first round mold. It's like a safety. Like I don't take a safety that high. That being said, first round, 2 picks. We're at pick number 3 at this point. Number 2 pick overall, C.J. Stroud, picked by the Texans, and it's people were talking about him maybe falling a little bit in this draft, and the Texans picked up their quarterback. But shame on me. I've been so preoccupied with hockey. I forgot the draft started. I was like, what time is it? Oh, no. But C.J. Stroud picked up by the Houston Texans in the first round. And he was the number 2 pick overall. And it looks like, if I could find the damn thing, it's like you would think that'd be top news. I'm going to say Bryce Young got selected first overall, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we picked a bad night to go live, right? You get the draft, you get the Ranger
so
game.
Many things going on.
You don't have any alcohol.
I'm sorry.
cluster
Bryce Young, first pick overall, Carolina Panthers. Good luck to the Jets. Good luck to the Giants. Giants need some wide receivers as well. We'll see if they make some moves, trade up maybe. But that comes a conclusion to our show. We got to go. And we'll catch you again next week. And we'll talk about the draft a little bit more. But from us here at the Scoreboard Ags podcast, we appreciate
and Tatiana back there behind the bar. I know what she's doing.
Have a good one.